I want to show you one of my favorite files to use conditional formatting and to show how dramatically it can help you make sense of data and numbers that you're looking at. This file is attendance numbers for people who have come to a water park, and you can see that there are months listed down the side and the days of the month listed up the top. I'd have to scroll, even though I've got it zoomed way out, I'd have to scroll quite far over to see the totals. Well, the first thing I would do if I were going to be working with data like this is I would name the data a range so that I could select it over and over. And you don't want to take anything but the inside data. You don't want the totals. You don't want any of that. So I'm selecting from I guess it's not A7. Let me look over here. I'm selecting from C7 to AG18. And that's it's tricky to get a range like that selected with your mouse over and over again, especially if you're not zoomed out like I am. And I'm going to name this data. And now, if I want to put some conditional formatting on these cells, I can do that easily. What would help me? Well, if I was the park manager and I was keeping track of how many people came to my park every day of the year, I'd probably want to know what's the very best day of attendance I've ever had. Well, you might even want to know just generally what are good days and what are bad days. You could guess that the summertime you'd see more people and the wintertime you'd see fewer, but let's put some conditional formatting on to make that visually happen. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my name box to click on data and select it really easily. Now I'm going to go to conditional formatting, and as you can see there are ways of highlighting cells, greater than, less than. Well, I'll use that in a minute. There's top and bottom. Again, I'll use that in a minute. Data bars and color scales are the first things I'm going to do, or not data bars rather, color scales are the first things I'm going to do to put on my data. And you can see that if I hover over, I'm going to get days changing based on the number. So it looks at the numbers relative to each other and it shows. And you can see if I hover this way, the higher numbers are yellow, the lower numbers are green. And again, this way it's the reverse. The higher numbers are green, the lower numbers are yellow. I quite like that. I'm going to click on that. So now I've got a way of visually seeing what are my best days, and apparently they're all clumped around late May, June, August, like that, maybe early September. But I still don't know what my best day is, and I still don't know what my worst day is. So now I'm going to use a conditional formatting, and again you can put many conditional formattings on the same range. So I'm going to select my range, and this time I'm going to tell it I want to find the top value. Now I'm going to choose the top 10 and then I'm going to modify it because you can see that the top 10 items will light up. You can see them starting to light up back here, but I actually just want one. I'm going to type in 1. And then I could say how I want it to look. I could probably go with something different. I'm going to go with, oh no, that doesn't look different enough. I'm going to do a custom one. I'm going to say I want this to look a little bit different. I should be getting a dialog box now that lets me fill it with a special color. I'm going to sort of fill it with a bright red, and then I'll make my font color white, otherwise it will be pretty hard to see it on there. Okay, so now, wow, you can see really easily that is my best day. So I'm going to say okay. And if I look at it, it is July 4th. Wow, I guess everybody came to the water park for their July 4th celebration. Well, what if I want to see my worst day? I can do the exact same thing. I can select my data, again, so easily by having named it and just using that name box to select the range. And I'm going to go to conditional formatting. I'll go to top and bottom rules. This time I'm going to go to bottom 10 and modify it to 1. And this time, do I care if I stay with the pink background and the dark red fill? Not really, so I'll say okay. And you can see it stands out over here. There's my worst day, here's my best day. Very easy to get my head around the pattern of attendance at my park now using conditional formatting.